America's National Park of Speed meets a car that's an absolute rocket ship in a straight line. This should be a match made in heaven as we get ready to watch round 9 of the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legends Series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. I am Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Jake Sperry. Behind the scenes is our director, Daniel Costello, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. This track sees a lot of action in the sim, but in case you're not familiar, let's head to our track guide. Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But two of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why. Well, we were just talking before we came live, Jake, that this place shows up a lot on iRacing schedules, so I'm pretty sure most of the drivers will know their way around.
Everyone loves to be halfway between Milwaukee and Green Bay, and Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin is a wonderful track with great overtaking opportunities, and I think that's the reason why you see it so often on the schedules. It doesn't have a recognized hairpin turn. The carousel is the closest thing to that. By no means, though, is that a sharp braking zone, but you've got 3 great places to pass on this track: into turn 1, in through the Marine Sweep into turn 5, and then through the Kettle Bottoms to Canada Corner at turn number 12. It is one of those tracks that gives you opportunity. It always creates a style of racing, and then of course there's that heartbreak hill right up the top if you've slightly underfueled it.
Yeah, got to make sure that you've got enough in there because these cars do not take pit stops. Now, as for the championship, now that we're getting towards the latter stages, things have gotten very interesting. Look at that, 3 points between Hisada and Valenteus, and Nicola Kaki also in there as well. But here's where it gets fascinating. That 320 points, Audrius Valenteus, that's it. That's all he has. Togo Hisada, if you include the drops, he has 404 points. So Togo's actually sitting in a very good position comparatively to Audrius. We could see that change around. Jason Clapper with a stunner of a season in the top 4. They're sitting about 58 points back, considering he rarely qualifies. It's amazing for Bruggen chasing on him. It's a tie between Olsen and Rossi with only a single point back to Mick Claridge. And then Kurt Clapper and Gary Ho round out our top 10 in the F1 standings. Let's take a look now at the F2 standings.
Yeah, absolutely, and it has been a season for Josephine Becker, which has been wonderful, but they are starting to close up around her. Tobias Hernvey and Andres Bruno, 20 and 31 points adrift, with Mats Linden and Yanis Carpentier, all with chances to try and bring the gap down. Manuel Matisic is a little bit further back in 6th position, along with Campbell Wallace, as Alan Graham and Thomas Tuba are 8th and 9th, just a point between them, and a point back of that too to Henry Viramaki in 10th position. So they've got work to do in order to get what they need to on a day-to-day that will have about 3.2k soft.
They also hold a Nations Cup in this series. Right now, Japan is up at the top of that. United Kingdom and United States in a very tight battle also with Italy, I should point out. They're kind of fighting for second place, but Japan having a very good season up at the front. Also looking close between England and Spain currently, only 7 points separating those two, as Ukraine is not that far behind as well, mostly being contributed by Andreas Valenteus, claiming them for this season. Netherlands and Argentina separated by a mere 3 points, then only has another 6 back to Sao Tome and Principe. Things have been a little bit jumbled because of iRacing's new flag system that they have on claiming different countries, but it certainly has given us some colorful results in that Nations Cup. In the meantime, Jake, why don't you run us down the race details?
Absolutely. I find it magnificent that you've got the United Kingdom and England both inside the top 10 as if they're not one and the same. Round 9 of 12 here. So you've got 16 laps worth of racing action here today, and everyone's in an open setup. So there's a little way you can fettle and fine-tune to give yourself that chance to move forward. Now, if you do find yourself in an instant, that's it. We're brutal here in the Grand Prix Legends Series. You're out. There's no spare car to save you, and a drive-through penalty comes through at 17 instant points. I would be surprised to see that today, and disqualification comes along at 25. So keep your eyes on the instant points as they get themselves set. They will be moving over to qualifying, Joe, with a traditional 8 minutes to set a qualifying lap time and 2 laps allotted for everyone today.
Yes, they should have enough to get both of those laps in, but they've got to hurry out there because we still don't have any time set at this stage. And look, we've only got 4 minutes left. So it's going to be very close trying to get both of them on the board. We'll see if Valenteus can get himself up to the top. One of the big things on that is that, like Jake said, they can pass, but you don't want to be too far down, Jake, because if you lose touch with that top train, that can be very difficult to try and make the ground up.
It can, and this is what we call, I would say, more of a cycling style race. You'll get a formed peloton at the front, and if you're on the wrong side of the brake, you're going to have a really tough time of making things back. You sit down and realize that you are trying to get a car within a second and a half. When the rubber band snaps, there's nothing there. Nicola Cocchi, then fastest driver out there with a wonderful result of his time on the board. It was there for a moment, but Topi Courtaniemi has found a little bit of love out there with classics, because look at that. He is 3/10 clear of the championship leader, and that is stark by comparison. He took the 79s last week. He's looking for 49s this week.
Interesting. As we check out Valenteus now, he has not set his first time, and I can tell you that this is his first time lap that he is on, so he should be able to make it around for the second one. And McClarridge just jumped up onto the front row. That's much closer to Topi. That is within 1/10 of a second, but a mistake and an off track. This lap is not going to count for Valenteus. He's got to hope that the second one is a good one.
Andreas Valenteus is known here in iRacing as the gold standard. He's the gold standard because he never makes mistakes, and yet this season he's had them start creeping in. He came together with Seb Tixier earlier on this season, and that took him well out of contention at Phillip Island. So if Andreas Valenteus is looking around and thinking, I'm struggling now with qualifying, I think the pressure's really on him. He's now got 1 lap, 1 opportunity to be focused with the 37 of Colin Bennett, and then back to the number 2 of Topi Courtaniemi, absolutely fanging that Glacier Racing car through the kink.
Using every inch of track. You can see him picking up the grass in places as he kicks clods of dirt into the air. He is not leaving anything on the table, and that looks a lot more successful in comparison to Valenteus down through Canada Corner. Question is, what is this lap time going to be? Can he get himself clear of McClarridge, who clearly is close on pace and could topple him for that pole position round the final corner and up the hill? Nicola Cocchi goes quicker, but only by 0.03 of a second, down to a 2:04.392. Meanwhile, crossing the line, Courtaniemi, 2:04.1. He's back on top.
What a lap. That's a huge lap. But remember, you got drivers like him, Mick Claridge, who's had a little bit of a season to forget so far. Tixier goes second. Gary Ho up in the top 5. We still got to keep eyes on Togo Hesada as well. But Mick Claridge crosses the line with a minute to go, and he puts a 2:04.2 down. That's good enough for the front row, but you've still got to turn around. Hesada's got nothing out there. But what about number 1, a driver who has been in this race for over a decade, Joe, and someone who has raced up against the very best in the classics of 2010s. He was up against the likes of Alexia Loma, for example. Aldrius Valentejas is looking for a huge qualifying now.
Here we go, coming up over Bill Mitchell Bend. Just one more corner. What's this lap going to be? Will he be starting from the back, or is he going to have a shot at the win? Granted, with the way he's raced, sometimes he could charge his way to the front, but it'll be a tall ask. In the meantime, with 13 seconds left, just enough to cross for a second lap, a 204 flat is going to put him on the pole by 700ths. Topi Kortaniemi is going to have a challenge.
That's what we call the mark of a champion, the ability when the chips are down to deliver. Joe, my word, did Valentejas deliver?
He did. He's going to try and make up for Phillip Island, which incidentally was the first time that he has not won this season that he has shown up. Our starting grid will see him on the pole position. Topi Kortaniemi will start in second as Mick Claridge begins from P3. Seb Tixier from fourth, trying to turn his bad luck around. You've got Nicola Kaki starting in fifth with Gary Ho in sixth. Togo Hisada, only seventh for him today. Kevin Verbruggen will begin from P8 as Raul Guardia will be ninth and John Olsen 10th.
Over to row number 6, where Laust Olsen, the Dane, will sit with Gary Quellin alongside the company. Then it's Marco Antonio Lopez and David Rossi in row 7. Bill Tyler is 15th with the F2 Championship leader, Josephine Becker. She goes from 16th. Shocked to see Jack David Spickett down the order in 17th. Here's a driver who can challenge for top fives in this, with Kurt Clapper 18th. And then Cam Porter and Alan Graham make up the 20.
Pablo Hoglar will start from 21st. Pedro Timiladri will be 22nd. Then you've got Robert Plumley, P23. Outside of row 12 is Matthew Maudsley. Quarter century mark goes to Michael Grissinger. Wade Cheedy will flank him. You've got Tobias Harnby in 27th and Giannis Carpentier in the 28th spot. Colin Bennett will start 29th, and 30th will be Thomas Tuba.
Only 33 with set qualifying times. Mats Linden, Mauro Micheletti and Manuel Matisic make those. So by iRacing, Jason Clapper starts ahead of Eugenio Massa, Felix Antoine Tremblay, Andres Bruno, Don Peak, and then Luis Geren then being the final driver. So Geren will have a lot of work to do in the number 39 car in P39, Joe.
Looks like we are ready to go as the lights are now up. The engines begin to rev here in Wisconsin. It's round 9 for the Grand Prix Legend Series, and the green flag is out. It's a very good start from Seb, but he has to back off as he cannot find an opening. One car off into the grass in the background. Look at the weaving already. Valentejas not wanting to give anybody a shot at taking that lead away right at the beginning. They file through turn 1. First group is good, but somebody in the back has gone into the gravel.
Yeah, it's someone in blue who's found the troubles and still trying to get back. It's Gary Quellin who's found himself wrong place. He hasn't had any contact. He just locked it up. Cold brakes. Lap 1, remember, these are very old cars, and so it takes a while to generate that heat, and it's long braking zones. Hisada immediately now on the attack. He's got Gary Ho. He's got to try and get by for P6. He manages it. Watch out behind, and straight on goes Kevin Verbruggen. How on earth did the Dutchman miss the back of Gary?
Well, that turn 5, especially on lap 1, is always a big danger zone. You can see some big pile-ups, but I'm glad we were able to avoid it this time. Verbruggen still sitting in that 11th spot. But now he's got Jack David Spickett behind him, a driver who's become a regular in the Vintage Series. Almost 3 wide coming down the hurry downs, though, as drivers eager to make up positions early, not wanting to lose touch with the leaders.
Verbruggen on the wrong side of the carousel. He's trying to get back by Laust Olsen for position. There is JDS in the classic green and yellow of Lotus out there at this point. Marco Antonio Lopez just behind that, and you never want to go too wide through the kink. It's a transfer corner, the wall's there on the outside, and you use the kettle bottoms now to your advantage to head to Canada corner. It is 6 clear at the front. Gary Ho trying to hold on with John Olsen. Spickett later on the brakes, car off in front. That is going to be Gary, who finds himself dropping down the order, and that just a drop on his own accord.
But this fellow Singapore driver of Seb Tixier is no longer a support behind him. He has fallen way, way back down to 18th position. In fact, he's still fighting with Cam Porter. The popular streamer is now up into 18th place, 17th place, I should say. And we can see Gary Ho with his motion rig chasing him up the hill.
Well, I would say it's a great motion rig. It's not going to be a full motion rig where if you start rolling it over, it will throw you out. Oh, big hit in towards turn number 1. The smoke everywhere. And it's going to be Marco Antonio Lopez for 1. And for 2, Bill Tyler.
Wow, I wonder if they clipped wheels, because it looked like it was before they got to the corner at all. So something clearly has gone amiss trying to find their way into there. Michael Grissinger, in the meantime, the big fight down in 23rd spot, working on Carpentier. Down just in front of him, Thomas Tuba sitting in behind him. This is what I was thinking was going to happen. It is going to be frantic in the mid-pack. Nobody able to get away from one another.
I just took a look at it, and it looks like for Marco Antonio Lopez, he had a screen freeze on himself, so he had to try and move over. He moved his line over to the outside, and unfortunately, Bill Tyler didn't spot it. He went straight over the back wheel like he was Ralf Schumacher in 2002, and ultimately went straight across turn 1 and somehow missed the gap. Top 3 now working hard. Valenteius, Courtney, and Mick Claridge. This is a who's who at the front.
Really is. I mean, you got Tixier in there, cocky. Quesada's still in the front group. In fact, I think you can break that off at 6th place. There you can see in the background, he has got a gap forming behind him. But 6 is plenty to keep this interesting for the remaining 14 laps. A look down the outside coming into Canada corner. Courtney is already challenging on Valenteius, who forces a defense.
Yeah, and that's cheeky actually there by Aldrius, because he was just pinching the gap of how much room he has on the outside. It is what we call a legal move out there to take that gap away, because they don't have side-by-side battling where you do entitle the space, but it is a little bit taboo. It's what Michael Schumacher used to do to Mika Hakkinen, just took the space away just as you're about to go for it, and Courtney, who plays the Hakkinen role, moves over to the outside and looks for the run. Now, where's Mick Claridge going to go? He lifts out of it here, so they're going to scrap here to turn number 1. Tixier with the purple check mark for the fastest lap, but it's Valenteius who holds his line steady. Now look out to turn 3, because Mick Claridge is going to try and take advantage of toppy yielding.
A nice over-under. He saw the battle happening, set himself up, and he moves into P2 with not much margin between them. But they're starting to lose a little bit of touch. They can't let Audrius run away here. Topi's going to try and fight back. This is down through the Moraine sweep, and all of them covering the inside. And wow, very late on the brakes for 2 of the cars, both Mick Claridge and Seb Tixier. Tixier goes just a little bit too deep, but Mick's still in it for the lead.
And Tixier has a traditionally loose setup out there, and it caused a lot of trouble with Valenteius at Phillip Island. Nicola Cocchi almost took a tap and is through, but Valenteius holds. Mick Claridge in second. He catches a wiggle through turn 8. That gives a chance through the hurry downs now to Courtney, who covets the inside and can't get the clearance, and now they've got to work together. Tag as they go through. You're it, Toppy, as they work through the carousel, trying to work around the outside. Mick Claridge getting his elbows out. Right now it's a knife fight in a phone booth, and at the moment Claridge comes out on top.
Oh, they really are starting to lose touch. It's all the way up to 0.7 of a second. They could still reel it back in, but they have got to settle down at this stage. And look at how much it is backing up the cars behind them as well. It'll start to get worse and worse the more they fight. And look at that. They know it. These are smart drivers, Jake. They've gone single file.
Joe, these are 6 drivers who on any given day of the week can go and win in this championship. These are 6 egos that do not want to give it up. I'm not surprised they're fighting so hard.
Yeah, they all want to win. In fact, I'm pretty sure they've all won at least once in this series so far. So have all previously proven themselves, but all hungry to take more top spots. Looks like Topi's going to go for it this time, but they're just slightly closer with about only 0.6 between themselves and Valenteius. They're going to lose more if they go side by side through turn 1, which they will. Mick gives it up. Topi moves into P2, but behind them, Cocchi waits patiently.
Yeah, Nicola knows he's in a championship scrap with Togo Hesada and Aldrius Valenteius, and they can't afford this. Look at it, 0.9 of a second. Lads, get in line. You've got to make sure that Aldrius doesn't walk away. This is Christmas. for Andreas Valenteus right now. He's doing nothing but driving his race, and on a circuit where you can catch 2 to 3 tenths of a second on a single straight, you just don't want to battle. Wide goes Cocky, and it gives Tixier a chance then, as we take a look from Togo Hisada. Might be the best place today to be in P6 if they're going to continue to fight up. And I also want to point out as well, Josephine Becker's having a wonderful day. She's in 11th, in 10th, she's just through on Raul Rosses. What a day for the F2 Championship leader. This is stellar.
She's had an amazing season. Yeah, I want to give her a lot of credit for the way she's been racing. And if she comes away with this championship, it'll be a much deserving champion. There she is now. Not done yet. Kevin Verbruggen just in front of her, definitely within range to try and make it a fight for 9th. And then actually, I think you could say that Jack David Spickett also in reach. So we'll keep a close eye on this one to see if that starts to evolve. You mentioned Togo Hisada, and I'd like your thoughts, Jake. I feel like maybe he's waiting back, but then he didn't have the qualifying pace, so I don't know if that's intentional or not.
Little bit of A, little bit of B, as Laust Olsen looks for the lunge at the inside, is not going to get it there on the likes of Pablo Rodriguez Hoglar, Raul Rosses, who is there in front. But I think that Togo is partly in this group because he's holding on to the pace using slipstream, but partly is there holding back and not wanting to throw his weight around because he knows that this is an elite group, as off goes Tobias Hernvey in 27th position now, and that's really going to scupper his momentum out there in this race. But I think Togo is going to be someone who will be looking to pogo, but for the moment, I think he's very happy on terra firma.
Jack David Spickett going to lose the spot. Verbruggen manages to get by down into turn 1. There is a lot of gravel I'm starting to see at Canada Corner. It's become extremely messy quickly, so you do not want to go wide there or you're going to have absolutely no grip. In the meantime, I think we might see a repass here, because it looks like JDS might have a bit of a run. He's not completely in the slipstream, though. Now he finally gets in line, and it might be too little too late as he starts to gain, but they're already on the binders.
Yeah, so Verbruggen better on the brakes than Jack David Spickett, and that's the place made. And Gary Ho trying to go the long way around Pablo Rodriguez Hoglar, and Pablo is having none of it with Porter, with Rossi, with Clapper, all in line. Everything has formed to a pack of 5, a pack of 6. They're all just finding the group of pace that they can work with, and they're trying to go through. It's like watching a team time trial.
That's a good way of putting it. And Topi Kortsiniemi here, currently running second fiddle to Andreas Valenteus, once again back ahead of Mick Claridge. Those three actually still where they started this race. It hasn't remained that way the entire time. It's been spicy, but you do wonder how long it will remain like that. Will they swap around once again? Topi is again going to force a defense out of the number 1 car coming down into Canada Corner.
Well, he's trying to cut him up. Nit 1 per 1 through Bill Mitchell, and Nit 1 per 1 again. He gets a face full of gravel discard on the main straight, so he's going to have to be cautious about that. But I think this is going to be a race now, Joe. It's very much like Monza. This isn't an if you pass, it's a when you pass. It's about placement, it's about confidence, and where you're going to sit heading on to the final laps of this race. Yeah, we're only going on to lap 6 now, but anything you do now shows your hand to later. Kortsiniemi to the outside to try and get it done. Mick Claridge sees a gap, tries to go for it. It shuts on both of them. Claridge with the fastest lap. Round the outside goes Kortsiniemi. They'll have to do it again at turn 3. He forces Aldridge to again compromise his line through 2 into 3, and he is just going to be a little terrier at the heels. I want nothing. Now Mick is going to need a run, and he's going to get one.
Oh, but he's got no place to take it. Look at this. They're blocking him off. There is literally no room there. And he had a stellar exit coming off of turn 3. He knew it. He was trying to set it up. But the two are still concerned with fighting one another rather than him. Still, they remain side by side coming down through turn 5. And just a nose ahead, but on the outside, Valenteus is not on the ideal line. It's hard to hang on here. They're going to make contact, and all 3 of them come together. 4 cars come together. The entire group is going to make a wreck out of turn 6, and Togo Hisada, his patience has paid off. He is your new leader.
A pass in the grass, and that was the powder keg looking to explode. Courtiniemi didn't want to give it up. He was aggressive on the brakes up the hill into Corvette turn 6, and then they just tag rear wheels, and Mick Claridge doesn't spot it, and ultimately as Claridge gets back up to pace, he tags Nicola Cocchi, and everybody has to abandon. Tixier in second, Cocchi to third, Claridge now back to fourth, and look who's in the party. Mr. Sao Tome is in play, John Olsen.
Wow, for being a group of extreme experts here, especially in this car, they look a little bit more Keystone Cops, unfortunately. And Togo saw it. He saw it all unfolding, gave himself space. Nicola Cocchi going up into the air, and just about every single car in that group except Togo made some sort of contact.
And I think it's worse because they're such good drivers, Joe. It's the fact that they all had the ability to hold themselves together with that incident, with the exception of Toppy and for Aldrius, that, you know, it continued that incident, because any other drivers out there, like someone like you and me, for example, we're off left and right immediately. We don't catch that back on the circuit. So there's the first hit. No way of stopping that one for Mick. He goes up in the air, but it's because everyone's so good with their car control that everyone just tags everyone else trying to fight for real estate.
Right, and man, that was a big hit on the back of Topi. Hopefully it was not too much damage there. And David Rossi is now off. That looks to be out of turn 1, gets the car back onto the circuit and rolling, but seems to have lost at least a couple positions in the process. Now this group is still mostly together. Valenteus, I think, interestingly enough, has lost the most, but they've gained one. John Olsen is now with the group.
Mick Claridge will have very cold feet out there at the moment, as dropping down is Lars Golson and Jack David Spickett. And Spickett is off at turn 5, and it looks like he's gone steaming into the corner. He's apologised, and that will be him done. So he tried to get down the inside of 1, of 2, of 3. He locked it up, and Laus just took the tap.
Oh, we got an interesting fight for Josephine Becker. I don't think she was anticipating going up against Adrius Valenteus for a top 6 position overall. And then Topi Courtiniemi following in tow as well. She's shown what she's made of so far. Oh my goodness, and she's made of some pretty big guts here as she defends coming down into the kink. I don't know if she'll be able to hold them both off coming down into Canada corner and finally sneaking through. Valenteus looking around the outside. Job's not done. Last time he did that, he almost got sent into the ozone. But underneath both of them, Topi Courtiniemi sneaking into the battle. He almost now gets shoved outside.
Do we just want to point out the fact that it's your F2 championship leader, your F1 championship leader, and Topi Courtiniemi in that? That was a stellar moment, and I think it also highlights the fact that Aldrius just wants to get through and make places and make time. Did not give any respect to Josephine Becker trying to look down the inside of the kink there, just thinking, oh, car in front's going to spin. Oh my goodness me, that was massive there for Manuel Matasic.
Oh my goodness, how in the world did he wind up in that position is the question, as we've had now multiple incidents going into turn 1, some strange goings on. Hopefully we get a replay, because I have no clue how in the world a car wound up sideways.
Togo Hesada's just about to lose the lead as we watch this. This is Matthew Maudsley a little bit further back. It was Manuel Matasic who had the moment as Togo Hesada loses the lead now to Seb Tixier straight down the inside, and Seb has been there, he's done it, he's written the script on how to win races like these, and he's now got himself a good position at the halfway stage of the race. So there's still more to be unpacked. Cocchi happy to sit in third and Claridge in fourth.
All right, now things have calmed down enough. Oh, he's missing a wheel. That's part of it right there. And then I guess the car just started to lose. Oh, he clipped the wall. And then it just really had no way to hold it until then, right when the leaders came up. Didn't have time to exit out to a tow. But thankfully, everybody avoided. I mean, we were interrupted in the midst of that battle. I want to give credit to Becker. Not only did she face against 2 of the greatest in this car ever, but then she fought back even after passed. So, again, she is made of some tough stuff as we come back to Tixier, Hesada, Cocchi, and Claridge all fighting for the lead.
Yeah, 5 at the front now because John Olsen hasn't gone away. He's just dangling off the rear here, trying to do his best impression of Togo Hisada at this moment in time. But again, it pays to be in a group. It pays to be calm. It pays to keep a clean nose out there. And Togo now picks up the run. We'll look to the inside here, heading towards turn 1. Look how early Tixier is off lifting for turn number 1. He wants none of that, allows Togo to have that position because he wants to give it a little 10th and a half here, Joe, heading to turn 3. Doesn't want to be right on the back of the exhaust because it's all about, can I pick up a run here coming out of turn 3 that gives me the run through the sweep to 5?
I think he knows the game. He knows how this is going to be played, and he's going to come back at Hisada coming down the moraine sweep. And Togo knows it as well. He does not fight it. Nick Lakaki thinks about maybe sneaking into that second position, but then reconsiders. This does look to be a little bit more of a cooperative group than what we saw before, although that was way too deep from Togo, and he gets elbowed out a little bit by Nicola.
No, and that's the key. They started to overlap wheels, and they're only going to give each other enough room. Togo had to open the steering, go into the grass. Through went Mick Claridge, and there goes Kevin Verbruggen out.
Oh, that was starting out so good for him, and then it suddenly just unfolded. Jason Clapper, in the meantime, one of our drivers up in the top 4 in points, only in 14th today. Did not qualify this time as he started from 34th. So he's up 20 positions, but this is what we were talking about, why it's so impressive that he's so high in the championship.
Well, Jason Clapper has taken advantage of a number of things, and that is a field that maybe has been slightly weaker this season, that you haven't had everybody here. This is one of the first times where everyone has been, as Mick Claridge looks to the inside. He's not going to see it, but secondly, for him, he's just seen maybe a little bit more of the drama out there of everybody else. He's been very, very good at picking his way through. He is a master of running the last to first challenge, and that's why he's picking up the places, he's picking up the pieces, and he's picking up the points to be fourth in the championship. He'll lose a little bit today, I'm pretty sure of that, but here in the second half of this race, you're looking at endgame here, and Tixier looks around, sees Cocky fighting with Mick Claridge. Mick is a damaged driver at the moment with his car, but he refuses to see that at the moment. He's just willing his Lotus 49 into the corners.
Around the outside through turn 1, Cocky is going to fight him for it. Topi taking the fastest lap of the race behind them. He and Andreas are starting to catch up. This time down into 3, Mick has to give it up. And Seb up at the front, looking to do a little bit of what Valenteus started to do and try to run away. Still, look at this. Mick he is not allowing Cocky to relax. He is still fighting him for P2.
Running outside's not going to work there. Mick Claridge covers off the apex. Yeah, he's half a second back, but he keeps Tixier in his mind as they now work up the hill to Corvette 6. And this is where it all came wrong for them. Now as they try and work through turn 7, they will head themselves onto the hurry downs, and these corners are transfer style corners. You're just waiting for that next big section, another 90-degree left-hander that leads to this long carousel, which means any corner over 180 degrees in America counts as a carousel. And I could turn around to you and say that there are some brilliant corners, say at the Hockenheim ring, that almost have back-to-back carousels.
That's a good point. Mick Claridge now finally gets that second place out of Cocky's hands and looks up to Seb Tixier. I don't know if you really want Mick trying to lead the group, though, because he's definitely going to slow them down. Valenteus, with about 7 laps to go, about 6 laps to go at this stage, needs to make up 5 seconds. Is he quick enough, and will he drag along Topi?
Well, in terms of the leader, he took 3/10 that last lap. I'd say he's got a very hard time. He's going to need some help to do that. But going back to the point of Mick Claridge, wasn't it the Colin Chapman way to add speed and lightness? I think Mick's taking it a bit too literally today.
Yeah, that's for sure. The nose of that car completely missing, but it's getting plenty of air on the radiator, and he's actually caught him. He's caught Seb Tixier with a damaged car. Seb again rolls over, not interested in fighting too hard, and allows Mick through.
Yeah, but remember, he'll pick up the run again out of turn 3, and he'll go straight back for him at turn 5. They'll have traffic in front as well to deal with. which will be Félix-Antoine Tremblay, who will be there in front of them. So the Canadian will be next up on the list, but Claridge, watch out, because they're all trying to snake behind to get onto his rear, and Tixier realises, I've not got enough of a run, I'm just going to roll off of it, but Cockey's a bit deep into the corner, and now there's going to be a scrap for that. Off the exit's okay, Mick runs a little bit wide, and so they're now starting to trip up over each other. Big lunge down up the hill. Oh, it's a roll reversal. Togo again leads. Four get involved again.
In the same corner, in almost the exact same scenario in which a car dove in too deep, the two made side-to-side contact. Togo Hisada has got this race sussed out, and Nicola Cockey, who is in second, is not going to be able to run him down. He has got a black and orange flag. He must pit for repairs.
It's mandatory, you got 4 laps to serve it, and so Nicola's race is run right now, and he'll have his head buried in his hands at this stage, with Valenterius now going to be up to third after looking like it was going to be another stonewall day of not scoring points. Mick Claridge, Topi Courtiniemi, they're all there together, so this is a great chance for them. It has brought them a second, and now here comes the chance then to the outside of Tixier. They're not going to manage, but they're going to jump all over Nicola Cockey here through these next 2 corners, and Nicola now has a chance to really make this tough for these drivers. Inside line gets 1, inside line gets 2, off goes Nicola Cockey, there's the third.
And that did slow them up. Valenterius needs to still make up about 5 seconds. Cockey having a heck of a time getting that back to pit lane. It does look like a pretty damaged car, and there he goes up towards his repairs. So Valenterius now to third. Seb Tixier, the car in front of him. We don't know what kind of damage is on the number 10 as well after that contact. He does not defend the inside. Through goes Valenterius, back up to P2. 4.7 seconds to make up. That's going to be a very tall order.
It is very tough right now. He knows that he's going to need this group to play together, and Togo Hisada now has the easiest job in the world. Just sit there, drive it, keep it on the island, and don't do anything stupid for the love of all that is holy. Round the outside there goes Mick Claridge. He's not done thinking of what he can get, but there goes Tixier launching one back down the inside. Big run's going to come on the outside here for Aldrius Valenterius. He's going to try and make this one work. On the brakes here at Corvette once again. Leaves a little bit more room this time and gets the clearance.
And then behind them, don't count out Mick Claridge, still in the group, somehow involved in 2 different incidents out there with the nose missing, and yet he's running in the top 5, but it may be second at best. And Pablo looking a little bit different. There he is, Nats Cam Porter. Sitting in 9th, a big climb up the order, but Pablo in front of him, struggling under braking, is not going to make the corner.
Well, look how big this group has suddenly become. Porter lead, Rodriguez Ho, Clapper, Temeladri, Plumley, Maudsley, and Laust Olsen. This is effectively, right now, an 8-car group for 2 spots, Joe. Just 2 spots inside the top 10.
Cheeky smile from Cam as he took that position, says everything you need to know. He is loving this, but he's got a lot of pressure from behind with that huge train breathing down his neck. Down into the braking, someone poking their nose in a little bit farther from the back, but Cam's got it under control. Back up to the battle for P2. Tixier ahead of Claridge, ahead of Courtiniemi. All behind.
Courtiniemi's got into the back of Tixier there, Joe.
Oh.
So they've gone breaking in for the final corner, and Tixier's taken a bit of a wider line. Courtiniemi's outlocked himself, and he's had the tag, and so he's had to lift out the throttle, and there that position has gone. Here comes Pablo Rodriguez to the outside of Cam Porter. Cam stone-faced going in towards turn number 1. He knows the game here as he tries to work it off the exit. He'll get good drive. Gary behind that as well, with Jason Clapper trying to work his way through. This is exactly how he gets his points. He's looking for 8th place all in all. Cam holds the line for the moment, but they've got the sweep to go under the Sargento Cheese Bridge.
It's a pretty good run from Hoglar as well. He's going to pull up alongside. It'll be a game of late braking coming down into turn 5. It looks like the 19's later on the brakes. He makes the corner. He's not going to go too far on that one. Meanwhile, we have not seen a change of position between
no!
Tobio, and it's happened again!
And it's caught Jason Clapper of all drivers out in that. Cam just locked up the rears, couldn't get the connection through the corner that he needed to make it happen, and just like that, you just dip the tyre once and it will bite.
Corvette has turned into calamity, unfortunately. So drivers finding out they need to be maybe a little bit more careful, as tempting as it is to try and pass into there. Back to the battle for P2. Last lap by, Audrius was quicker, but it's not by enough of a margin to catch Hisada. So it looks like this will indeed be just a fight to try and settle best of the rest, which is shocking considering the names that are in here.
I know, Audrius Valenteus is an incredible driver. Seb Tixier has won championships. Topi Courtaniemi is lightning fast in anything classic for Glacier Racing. And then Mick Claridge, who has got the longest winning streak of any driver in the Lotus 49s at 11. So this is a who's who group out there with 3 laps to go. Out of the pits comes Michael Grissinger in front of them. Courtaniemi the fastest lap of the race, and Michael's going to have to get his hurry up on as he pulls over to the side and allows that group through. Now Gary Ho's been given a little bit of a gap here to fight for this 8th place, with Pablo alone out there and working through. And do I also need to point out that Josephine Becker's in 6th place right now?
Absolutely amazing. Hoglar's going to come out ahead of Ho, defends successfully down into the first turn. Gary takes a little bit of a look, reconsiders into turn 3. Clapper, Temiladri, and Olsen are still behind. It is still a 5-car fight to try and decide this 8th position.
Yeah, and that fight's going to be really critical. To note that they're looking at points, trying to get into the top 10, trying to be around that top 10. That's going to give them everything they want. Ho taking the big wide line. You can go over the lines there. It's very much a NASCAR-style track limit that you've got there. And just behind that as well, Laust Olsen and the Argentine Pedro Temiladri going at it. And Pedro will lose out then in that one to Laus. So another change. It's a beautiful livery there with the blue and the white of the Argentine flag. Gary Quellin. Remember that Gary Quellin was around at turn 1 of this race, Joe, and now gets a bit of argy-bargy as he loses out the place there to Matthew Maudsley. But Maudsley lifts out of it, says, I'm not taking it that way. What a recovery by Gary.
Great job on that one as we check back in with Toga Hisada. The gap still at about 4 seconds. It is looking healthy at this stage. It's going to be 2 to go at the line. Not much left for him to complete, and he's used to being in these sorts of positions with a lead to defend and just needing to hit his marks. I have to say, Jake, I'm a bit surprised. This is a very raceable track, but some of the drivers have maybe lost their minds a little bit today.
Look, when we say it's a raceable track, it is a track where you can race and you can battle. It doesn't mean it can't be without incident. And today, when you looked around at everybody, they knew that. They're going to try and play to the finitest of margins, and everyone's gone over the top of those margins today. It's only 2 incidents, same style of accident for it to happen, but they will note that and go, we'll be a bit more careful next time. Everyone has been trying to play the game of preservation, but no one has done it better than the Emperor of the Lotus, Hasu Kote himself, Toga Hisada.
There you can see the gap between himself and Valenteus, who's still got Seb Tixier very close behind. Not going to make a move coming down into turn 5 this time. Just within visual distance, they see him up there, but they know that they've wasted too many opportunities to try and run him down. It's going to be so frustrating for this quartet, which might be becoming a trio, because it looks like Mick is falling off as the battle rages on between Ho and Hoglar. Hoglar holding the top spot. Olsen, though, has made up a couple spots. He's now in the middle of this group.
Yeah, Laust Olsen has just been quietly working away. He started 11th, he's now in 10th, so he's up 1 for today's action, and Gary Ho is around in this one trying to go through, and Pablo Rodriguez and Pedro Temiladri both started this race today on row 11 of the grid, and they are both fighting for a top 10 finish. That is what we call a hats-off level drive at the moment, and Pablo here having to run roughshod at the front. Courteniemi is certainly not going to sit down lightly and say, I'm taking 4th place. He will want away by Seb Tixier, but they are sitting down, realising it's lap 16 coming up, and there's only a couple of opportunities left.
You can see they're hanging everything out on this one. Big slide from Seb Tixier coming through Bill Mitchell Bend. White flag is out for Togo Hisada as he leads them across the line. Just one more to go. Tixier is not close enough to Audrius coming down into turn 1. However, Topi is getting very close to that gearbox.
He is. He wants to try and find a way through here at turn number 2. If he can get the launch through the exit, they've pulled a 5-second gap down to 3.5 seconds with just pure venom of Audrius Valenteus, and it's that venom that you've got to try and outlast at the moment. When a driver drives angry, they drive quicker normally because they don't have any fear in them. Tixier closing, but not close enough to make that move. Feigns to the inside to get wide in the mirrors, can't quite get the run, but as they head up towards Corvette, Audrius seems to just have the legs through these sections. I would look around and say, can there be enough hold through this middle sector? If Seb is anywhere within 2/10 off the exit of the corner, watch out Valenteus.
And watch out for Topi, because he is a very cool head. If those two start battling, he is going to pick them apart and take advantage of it without a doubt. So I think he is going to be a bit of a dark horse in this fight for P2. They come around the carousel. One more realistic shot at an overtake down into Canada corner, Jake.
They got one last chance, and this is where you're going to need the run. And Tixier here has done very well through the kink. He's got to be careful about understeer, and now he's got to pick up that drive. And he gets a little bit wide into the grass, and that might have just tempered it.
Coming down into the braking zone, they're too far apart. Valenteus has done it for now, as long as he gets a good run off the final corner. But that's only for second fiddle today. Togo Hisada has managed to allow his competitors to snatch victory from the, defeat from the jaws of victory here today, and reversed it on them while everybody else fought for it. He decided to just sneak on through, and it is a win for Togo Hisada, second for Valenteus. Seb Tixier was in third, and Courteniemi in fourth.
What great racing. John Olsen just loses out over the line in the scrap for 7th, and they will look at Laust Olsen, who's run wide through the final corner. Now he's going to have to try and gather it up. A freebie over the line for Gary Home. He'll take that one to take 9th place. Laust Olsen, final driver in your 10.
Josephine Becker with that 6th place. The F2 driver is going to continue to extend her points lead by a massive margin here with just a couple races left to go. Meanwhile, I think we're going to see 25 of these drivers finish on the lead lap, but a large amount of DNFs today, an inordinate amount compared to what we usually see. Don Peak, a nice 22nd position just behind Andre Bruno today. Both of them up 16 spots.
Is this the time where we say happy birthday, Togo Hisada?
Is it actually his birthday?
It's his birthday.
Oh my goodness. And to take a victory in that fashion, he's going to be beside himself. Harnvey will get himself a 25 place today, up to from where he started, as the last of them also across the line. Everybody else behind Tobias will be a lap down. You deserve to do some birthday donuts there, Togo, as he celebrates in the runoff at turn 5. What a run. This is one to hold on to, one of the craziest races we have seen here in the Grand Prix Legends Series, which takes us to our results for today's race. And Togo Hisada will come away with the win. Audrius Valenteus was only about 1.8 seconds back, but of course Togo had a little bit of a slowing down there at the start-finish line as he celebrated. Seb Tixier was third, Topi Courteniemi was fourth, and McClarridge P5. Josephine Becker, as we reported, 6th place up towards the top. John Olsen was 7th, Pablo Rodriguez Hoglar in 8th, and then it's Gary Ho 9th and Laust Olsen with a nice top 10.
Over the page to 11th position overall, where Pedro Temiladri would edge out Kurt Clapper. Raul Rosses would finish off in 13th, with Gary Quellin 14th after a spin on the opening lap of the race. Matthew Maudsley would finish just behind him, with Robert Plumley, the World of Kinducci, in 16th. Yannis Carpentier would finish off in 17th, ahead of Thomas Tuber and Mats Linden. Your top 20 rounded out by Mauro Micheletti.
Then in 21st, it was Andre Bruno, followed by Don Peak with Wade Sheedy in at 23rd. Eugenio Massa was P24 today. Tobias Harnvey, last on the lead lap, was 25th. Felix Antoine Tremblay was in 26th position. 27th went to Marco Salgado. Cam Porter, unfortunately, 28th after it was looking like a good run. Same thing with Jason Clapper, all the way back to 29th with a DNF. Same thing with Nicola Kaki in 30th. So many of these drivers probably could have had a lot better. Alan Graham, David Rossi, Kevin Verbruggen, Jack David Spickett, Colin Bennett, Michael Grissinger, Manuel Matischitz, and Luis Jarine with Bill Tyler rounding out the field. Let's get the birthday boy in here to talk to him about this race. Can't imagine how big that smile must be. Togo, first off, happy birthday. Second off, what's going through your mind when the same thing happens twice to give you the lead?
I'm glad today is my birthday. It's completely, kind of birthday luck for me. Yeah, just lucky, yeah, and right position, right car speed, and able to avoid the two big major incidents just in front of me, and of course, my pace is not so good. Qualifying is way down in P7, and of course I have I have less competitive today. So yeah, just helping a lot of today's luck, and I'm really happy to take a checkered flag first.
It's starting to make me think that you made a win your birthday wish when you blew out your candles, the way it just kept going your way. I mean, at the end, were you backing off a little bit? We did see you were being caught, but it didn't look like it was under any threat.
Yes, checking the relative on the exit on the last stand, there's more than 3.5 seconds or something like that. So I'll just celebrate myself.
I mean, just a fantastic job. Now, this track has a lot of places to pass. It's got these long straights, but going to Winton, have you raced the Lotus 49 over there? Because it's a lot smaller.
Yeah, it's very difficult with actually battling out there because these guys have slide a lot, and there's not so many alternative line, or side by side is always very scary in this track, and it's very very thrilling.
Again, congratulations on the victory. And let's, real quick, I think we're going to have a bit of a surprise here, as we've got a couple guests that want to hop in. And they have a little bit of a special gift here for you. Mick, do you want to lead the way?
You want me to lead the way? Okay, I'll count us in. Ready? So I'm going to count to 4. Okay, I want nice tones. I want clear voices. I don't want no mess ups. 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Togo. Happy birthday to you.
おめでとうございます。
It's a good thing these guys are race car drivers and not a choir. Is all I can say.
What are you talking about? I nailed it, Joe. I nailed that, mate.
Right. Well, let's scoot everybody out and talk to Seb Tixier, who finished in third. I believe Jake is going to interview him.
Yeah, Seb, today a day of, a lot of strong battling out there, but also a tale of two incidents. Just talk through both of them from your perspective.
The second one is totally my fault on Mick, and I basically did the same mistake that happened to me in front of me a few laps before, and it was pretty stupid because just before attacking, I was thinking myself like just follow, and then I get a run, and my brain just do a big fart, and it's like I have a run, let's go, and then I made a mistake and I kill Mick.
It's the way sometimes it goes. It's such strong racing. You look at that top six today that broke away at the front of the field. Have you seen it as strong as this here in Grand Prix Legends?
That's maybe we just miss Jorge. Jorge, we miss you. But yeah, it was very high rating at the beginning of the race. I was thinking myself, just top 5 will be good. So very happy with the top 3.
And so walking through today, knowing that, okay, it was a chance for points. They have slightly fallen away off the table. And so now you're looking at the final 3 rounds of this season. What do you think opens up in terms of opportunity for you in these final 3 rounds coming up that says, hey, look, I've got my way of getting to the top, especially as we get to the very tricky Winton Motor Raceway in just 7 days' time?
So for the championships, how much the door is open is, imagine a big door made with metal with a lot of locks, and there's a hot door holding the door behind. So that's my chance for the championships. I don't think I will do even top 5. And Winton, I really dislike the track very much. For me, it's a track for karting, not for for cars. I'm not sure I will do Winton even. So yeah, no, I have absolutely no chance to do anything in the championships this year. So maybe next year if we have the rain.
Well, hopefully you'll get a good chance, and it's going to be more than karting lines needed. Sebastian Tixier there joining us and picking up 3rd position overall. And Joe, I believe you've taken a walk down the virtual paddock and found yourself with Topi Courtiniemi.
Indeed, not a podium today, but impressive that he did make it back up to 4th. Topi, I mean, that race looked like chaos.
It was. I didn't really know which position I was until the very few laps. When I checked the relative, apparently Mick had crashed with someone, and I don't know, we battled with Seb, I think.
It was definitely all over the place. I mean, what was your thoughts on this one? Because we did see you trying to fight Audrius for that lead. Were you thinking at any point that maybe you guys should back down and try to run single file until the end, since passes tend to be pretty common here, or did you want that track position?
I kind of wanted the track position because I wasn't fully trusting Mick to try an attack, and then we'd lose the draft with Audrius. So I just wanted the track positions just in case. It's always safer in the lead, I think.
That's a good way to think of it. I feel like, speaking of thinking about things, we kind of made the comment that with all the craziness, especially down into turn 6, we felt like maybe the drivers will be taking some lessons out of this. Do you feel like there's anything to be taken away from the fight we saw today?
Yeah, I was a little bit too hot, maybe, into the left-hander where we had the contact with Audrius. I don't know. I was a little too hot. Maybe there was space on the outside. I don't know. Racing Inc. But I don't know. At the moment, I think it was my fault, so I gave the position back. But I don't know. It was good racing. Good racing for a very, very good.
It was entertaining.
For a long time.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Topi. At least it was a top 4, and hopefully we'll see some more this season.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Yeah, hey, Mick, don't quit your day job.
That's Sophie Quartziemi, who finished fourth today. And the irony of that is that Mick Claridge actually was a jazz drummer for much of his life. So he was a musician. But we're going to wrap things up, of course, before we go, with a big thank you to the team today, Jake, not Jack, Daniel, and Dougie. Even I'm out of sorts. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. We've been talking about the next race. That is at Winton down in Australia. That'll be Saturday, November 22nd at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. That's going to be a really tough race because that is a small track. Also, we have some more racing happening right now. Sim Racing Republic is at Magny-Cours, so go and tune into them. Of course, we've got the IMSA Vintage Series coming up just a little bit later today as well. Be sure to check out all of our other broadcasts listed here. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.